Well, we're back to this angle again. I think I can speak for everyone when they say that the previous angle that I did from last week was a bunch of horseshit. But before this video begins, big shout out to the Florida Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row against the same team, the Edmonton Oilers. And also congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning the 2025 NBA Championship. Don't listen to the people that are saying this should be an asterisk season. They're a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, you guys were the best team in the NBA by far, and it wasn't even close. Pacers had a really good run, and unfortunately the game ended as soon as Tyrese Halliburton suffered that Achilles injury. First Jason Tatum, now Tyrese Halliburton? What in the world did they do to you, NBA? Seems like the NBA gods have just had enough. Who's next? Anthony Edwards? Maybe Luka Doncic? I don't know. But anyways, let's get straight to the football video. Welcome back to Grizzly that Talks Football. I am the Grizz. I'm back. And this time, I kind of ran out of football news up to the preseason. So, I'm actually going to go back to college football to go over my projected standings for the 2025 college football season. And you already know I had to start with the SEC because all the SEC bandwagons would kill me if I didn't put them first in every single college series. I'm just joking. They wouldn't do that. Would you? But anyways, if you are looking for the playlist, the entire season 2, I'll make sure to leave it in the description so you can view every single episode up to this point so you're all caught up. You also have it for future episodes. Also make sure you hit that red subscribe button down here. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. Without further ado, let's get to some SEC State football. And here we go. We have 16 teams in this conference. I'm going to go from 16 all the way to number 1. Let's start with number 16. I'm sorry, I think I speak for everyone by saying I think like everybody knew this was coming. Mississippi State at 16. One of the 10 hardest schedules in the country. They are coming off a very disastrous season. I think they only won 2 games this past season. I don't see them improving anytime soon, especially with how hard, their schedule is. They went winless in the SEC this past season, and yeah, I don't think there's any way they're even sniffing a bowl game. If Mississippi State's coach gets fired, I really don't blame the program at all, because they were expecting to be really good for a while, and now they're in the doldrums of the SEC. Shut the entire program in the incinerator, will you? Next up, number 15. This is going to be a little bit tougher, but I'm going to go with the Kentucky Wildcats at 15. He's been at Kentucky for quite a long time now, and now that he has quarterback, what is his name? Zach Calzada. He's got a few blockers along with him as well, but Kentucky, I'm not exactly expecting them to do much. I gotta be honest, from the bottom to the top, it seems like it's Mississippi State, then the rest of the SEC, and then the top dogs, of course. Let's be honest, the comparison between the rest of the SEC to Mississippi State is quite considerable and very, very significant. Especially after only getting one SEC win this past season, I'm not exactly expecting Kentucky to do very much this season. Next up, number 14, and I'm going to go with the Arkansas Razorbacks at this spot. Sam Pittman is an okay head coach in my opinion. Unfortunately, Arkansas hasn't had the best luck ever since 2021 to 22. Wide receiver room and offensive line need the most work on the offense, especially with new quarterback Talon Green. Defense isn't exactly the biggest concern. It's just hopefully the offense doesn't run like it's 1998 Internet Explorer. Big time gonna go through another dark age, huh? And finally at number 13, I think I've held up for a little bit way too long, but I am going to go with the Vanderbilt Commodores. I don't think anyone has any expectations for Vandy. They have no idea which one they're gonna get. They're either going to get the team that makes a bowl game or they're going to get the team that goes winless in SEC. At least Diego Papi is coming back. Sad news is that they lost a ton of offensive pieces either to the transfer portal or to the draft. Especially the offensive line too, which is going to be a real bummer. Now on to number 12. This is where we start to get to the mid teams, even though Arkansas, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt are in the mid tier, but a little bit higher than them. I think the Missouri Tigers are going to be at 12. You guys remember that magical year in 2023, I'm very sure, when they only lost 2 games to Georgia and somebody else, I can't remember. And they had a guy by the name of Cody Schrader and Brady Cook absolutely balling out for them, able to beat Ohio State in a bowl game. That seems like ages ago. Now all their offensive pieces have left the team, and now, I hate to say it, but whoever's the coach of Missouri, I actually don't even know his name yet. I don't really watch as much SEC football as I used to, since, well, you know, they've always been in the national title for several years. Defense should be good, though, so defense is probably going to be pretty solid. Offense is going to be a little bit questionable at the moment. Next up, number 11. I'm going to go a very hot take here, and I'm going to say number 11 is the South Carolina Gamecocks. Norris Sellers is a potential preseason Heisman candidate heading into the next season. Unfortunately, though, I'm worried about their defense. And also the running game with Rocket Sanders leaving. I mean, at least they got Dalton Stewart on the edge. This is going to be a very down year for South Carolina if none of the guys at those spots that were taken up last year don't step up. And now we're on to the top 10. At number 10, I got the Oklahoma Sooners at this spot. John Mateer's taken over at QB. Defense looks to be maybe as good, if not better than ever than last year. You know, when the defense held Bama to 3 points. Defense was great. Offense, trash. Hopefully John Mateer can give Brett Venables' Oklahoma offense a little bit of a spark that they need so badly to get back to national relevance. If he doesn't pan out, Venables, you might be cooked. Up next, I got number 9. This is going to be a little bit tough, but number 9, I got the Auburn Tigers. The big names that Auburn got in the transfer portal were Eric Singleton and Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma. Eric Singleton obviously came from Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, just like South Carolina, the defense is going to be the biggest concern for this Auburn team. As we all know, defense wins championships, and you actually need a capable defense to be able to compete. Up next at number 8. Ooh, this is going to be a little bit tough to say, but Florida is going to be number 8. They finished probably a SEC schedule from hell at a 7-5 record and a Gasparilla Bowl win, and they are returning quite a bunch of talent. That team was young last year. The offense is expected to be one of its best in a long time. Hopefully the defense can match up as well. But Florida is probably going to be one of my sleeper picks to win the SEC. At number 7, I'm actually going to have the LSU Tigers, led by Brian Kelly. Garrett Nussmeier is expected to have a Heisman type of season for the Tigers. You know, the Go Tigers. They also do have a strong receiver room. Unfortunately, the offensive line, ouch, you lost almost all your starters. At number 6, this is going to be hard to say. Nah, I'm just kidding. Number 6, I'm going to go Texas A&M Aggies. Amazing offensive line. They're all returning. You got one of the best running back rooms in the country. Very nice receiving core with a couple of transfers. Guys like Casey Conception and Mario Craver. But it's really going to depend on whether or not Marcel Reed will be more efficient throwing the football and really being a threat on the dual threat QB list. At number 5, this is going to be a bit of a reach for some of y'all to say that Bama's going to have a decline in season, because a lot of people are putting Bama at the top, which I think is not going to be true as far as they see Caitlin DeBoer's complete ass coaching compared to Nick Saban. I say 5 is Bama. 7 defensive starters are returning. They do have a great receiving core, great O-line. I think they also have a great running back room, but the QB is going to be the biggest question of them all. Will Keelan Russell pan out to be what Bama hopes he will be? And that takes us to the top 4. Number 4, I mean, come on. It's going to be the Ole Miss Rebels at number 4. No more Jackson Dart, and they lost quite a bit of talent on both sides of the ball. I would honestly predict that Ole Miss probably could be 6, A&M could be 5, Bama could be 4. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch that. There we go. So Ole Miss at 6, Texas A&M at 5, Bama at 4. Unfortunately, Ole Miss, you lost quite a bit of talent at the starters for both sides. Austin Simmons is actually going to step in QB, and I should say he should actually do pretty decently. At number 3, of course, you got Georgia, Tennessee, Texas. I think the oddball out here is the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm projecting they're going to be at 3. Defense will be solid, but the offense, ouch. Dylan Sampson and Nico Iamaleava leaving, that hurts a lot. Offensive line lost 4 starters, and you also got Tennessee's receiving core that is left unproven. At least Joey Aguilar is starting for y'all. He was a quarterback at App State, and he was actually pretty solid. And now we got the top 2 teams in this entire conference, Texas and Georgia. Which one is going to be 2? Which is going to be number 1? At number 2, it is going to be 50-50, but I'm going to say that Georgia Bulldogs at 2. And for some reason, Georgia was only returning 7 starters on their entire team. Must be nice to develop some NFL talent for the Georgia Bulldogs, huh, Kirby? Offensive line is debuting 4 new starters. Gunnar Stockton, still very unproven at QB, so we'll have to see if he's going to be the real deal or not. And maybe the ground game as far as rushing goes, hopefully it will be as good, if not better, than it was last year when they were 15th in the country. And of course, that leaves Texas as the number 1 team on my rankings for the SEC this upcoming season. I know I think Mississippi State is a little bit invisible for some of y'all. Maybe it's a little invisible for me, but maybe it's not invisible for y'all. But if you can't see it, I do apologize. Anyways, moving on to Texas. Obviously, I think they are the media favorites to win the conference this year, especially after coming up short last year against Georgia in the SEC title game. They actually are expected to field the SEC's top overall defense, especially with edge rusher Colin Simmons and linebacker Anthony Hill among the starters of one of the nation's best front 7 fixtures, according to Sports Illustrated. They do have a strong backfield and an elite receiving core for Arch Manning to lean on. Arch Manning is expected to be a preseason Heisman candidate. I think he may be the preseason frontrunner right now, and the consensus number 1 pick heading into 2026 NFL Draft. Of course, I gotta see it to believe it. Prove me wrong, Steve Sarkisian. Win the SEC, like you did the Big 12 2 years ago. That's going to do it for the predictions for the SEC rankings. I will continue this series next week because I'm going to be moving on to the NFL for Tuesday and Wednesday. But that'll be all for this episode. If you enjoyed this, make sure you give us a big fat thumbs up, smash that like button, hit the red subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. This is the Grizzly signing off for now, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace!